Once upon a time, there was a man named Kunle who had a gentle heart and a quiet way of living. He was the kind of person you could pass on the street and not notice, not because he was dirty or rude, but because he always tried to take up little space. Kunle was in his late 20s, slim, clean, and careful with his words. He wore simple shirts, simple shoes, and he always kept a small hand towel in his pocket to wipe sweat because Lagos heat could humble anybody. Kunle was poor, but he was not lazy. Every day, he woke up early, prayed softly, and told himself the same thing as he tied his shoelace. "Just do your job well," he would whisper. "Do it well and go home." Kunle worked as a driver for a famous singer named Lola. Everybody knew Lola. Her songs played in taxis. They played in shops. They played at weddings and birthdays. If Lola posted a picture, thousands of people liked it in minutes. Lola was beautiful, loud, and proud. She was the type of person who entered a place and expected everyone to notice her, like the room was made for her. Kunle's job was simple. He drove her anywhere she wanted to go, waited as long as she wanted, carried what she wanted, and never talked unless she asked him a question. That was the rule he gave himself. That rule helped him survive. That morning, Kunle stood in front of a small mirror in his one-room apartment. The room was quiet except for a ceiling fan that made a tired sound as it turned. The room had a small bed, one plastic chair, and a small table with his keys on it. On the wall, a calendar hung, but it was 2 months behind because Kunle didn't have time to be pulling pages. He wore his cleanest shirt, though it was old. He looked at himself and nodded. "Kunle," he told his reflection, "be calm today." His phone buzzed. A message came in from Lola's manager. "Be at the gate by 7 a.m. Don't be late." Kunle sighed and picked his keys. He locked his door and walked out into the street. The air smelled like morning smoke and fried akara from a nearby cellar. Buses honked. A man shouted prices for bread. Kunle moved fast, because being late to Lola's house was not just a mistake, it was a big problem. When Kunle got to Lola's house, the gate man stared at him like he was checking him with his eyes. "You people should always be early," the gate man said. Kunle gave a small smile. "Good morning, sir. I am early." The gate man opened the gate slowly like he was doing Kunle a favor. Kunle drove the car out, parked properly, and waited. Lola came out wearing sunglasses even though the sun was still soft. Her hair was neat. Her clothes looked expensive. She walked like her feet did not touch the ground. 2 assistants followed her, one holding a small bag, the other holding a phone and looking stressed. Kunle quickly opened the car door. "Good morning, Ma," Kunle said. Lola looked at him like she did not hear. She entered the car and said, "We are going to the studio." Kunle nodded. "Yes, Ma." As he drove, Kunle kept his eyes on the road. Lagos roads were not friendly. You had to watch for bikes, buses, people, and potholes. But even as Kunle focused, he still did something he had been doing since he was young. He hummed. It was not loud. It was just a soft sound, like a person breathing with music in their chest. Kunle hummed because it helped him feel less tired. He hummed because it reminded him of his mother's voice when she used to sing while cooking. He hummed because the silence in the car sometimes felt too heavy. At first, Lola didn't react. She was scrolling on her phone, tapping fast, laughing at something and shaking her head. Then, Kunle hummed again, a little longer. The car moved through traffic. The smell of fuel and dust entered from outside. Kunle hummed to keep his mind steady. Lola suddenly snapped her head up. "Kunle," she said. "Yes, Ma." Kunle replied quickly, lowering his hum at once. "What is that?" Lola asked. Kunle swallowed. "Ma, I am sorry. I was just humming." Lola took off her sunglasses a bit and looked at him through the mirror. "You are always doing that," she said. "Every time. Like you think you are in your father's house." Kunle tightened his grip on the steering wheel. "I'm sorry, Ma. I won't do it again." Lola leaned back. "You better not. I need peace. This car is not a church choir." Kunle nodded again. "Yes, Ma." For some minutes, the car was quiet. Only the sound of the engine and distant horns. Kunle kept his mouth closed. But after a while, the traffic became slow. A bus beside them played loud music from another artist. Kunle's head moved a little with the beat without him knowing. Lola noticed it. "What is wrong with you?" she asked. Kunle quickly made his face calm. "Nothing, Ma." Lola gave a small laugh, but it did not sound kind. "You like music so much," she said. "But you are just a driver." Kunle felt his cheeks get hot. "Yes, Ma." Lola lifted her phone and pointed it at him without warning. "Say something," she said. Kunle's heart jumped. "Ma, say something," Lola repeated. "Or sing. Since you like music." Kunle's eyes stayed on the road, but he could feel the camera on his face. His hands shook a little. "Please, Ma," he said softly. "I am driving." Lola laughed louder. "See him, acting shy. Like I asked you to carry a mountain." Kunle swallowed again. "Ma, I beg." "I said sing," Lola snapped. Kunle went quiet. He did not want trouble. He did not want insults. He needed this job. He needed the money to send to his mother. So he tried to do what Lola wanted, but in a safe way. He did not sing with big power. He did not turn his head. He just hummed one line, very small, almost like a whisper. Lola frowned. "Is that all?" Kunle nodded. "Yes, Ma." Lola dropped her phone and hissed. "You people always pretend," she said. "When you see rich people, you start doing drama. You want pity so you can get money." Kunle's voice came out careful. "No, Ma. I don't want anything." Lola turned to her assistant in the back seat. "Did you hear him?" she asked. "He says he doesn't want anything." Her assistant gave a small fake laugh because laughing was safer than staying quiet. Lola faced Kunle again. "Listen," she said slowly. "This is my car. This is my life. You are just here to drive. That's it. Don't forget your place." Kunle felt a tight pain in his chest, like someone pressed a finger there and refused to remove it. "Yes, Ma," he said. They reached the studio. Kunle rushed out and opened the door. Lola stepped out like a queen. People greeted her outside. "Lola, Lola." She smiled brightly at them, suddenly sweet like sugar. She waved and laughed and posed for pictures. Kunle watched her change like a switch. Inside the car, she was sharp like a knife. Outside, she was soft like a pillow. One of the studio workers noticed Kunle and nodded. "Driver, good morning." Kunle nodded back. "Good morning, sir." As Lola went inside, Kunle stayed outside with the car. He sat in the driver's seat. His hands were still trembling a little. He breathed out slowly and looked at the steering wheel. "You are fine," he told himself. "Just be calm." Hours passed. Kunle waited. He used his small money to buy sachet water and bread from a woman outside. He ate slowly. When he finished, he wiped his mouth with his towel and looked at the studio gate. Then he heard Lola's voice from inside, loud and excited. "Post it!" Lola shouted. "Post it now." Kunle sat up a bit. He could not see her, but he could hear. One of the assistants said, "Ma, are you sure? People will talk." Lola laughed. "Let them talk," she said. "That's the whole point." Kunle felt a strange cold feeling in his stomach. Another voice asked, "Which one should I post first?" Lola answered quickly, "The one where he was humming like a goat. That one is funny. Post it, and tag me well." Kunle's eyes widened. He remembered the phone pointed at him. He remembered the camera light. He remembered how Lola laughed. He looked down at his own phone. It was old. The screen had a small crack. His data was low, but he still opened the internet. Slowly, the page loaded. He typed Lola's name, and then he saw it. A new post, just uploaded. Kunle's own face was on the screen. His eyes were on the road. His lips were moving with a small hum. The video had a caption that made Kunle's stomach twist. "My driver thinks he can sing. Should I sign him?" Under it, the laughing emojis were many. Kunle's throat went dry. He watched the video again without meaning to. He saw himself. He saw how small he looked in the seat. He saw how nervous he was. Then the comments started coming in fast. Even as he watched, More people were typing. Kunle did not read all of them yet. He just stared at the screen like the phone had slapped him. Inside the studio, Lola's laughter rose again, loud and happy, like she had just won something. Kunle slowly locked his phone and placed it on his lap. His hands were now very steady, but not because he felt strong. It was because something inside him had gone quiet, like a light turning off. He stared straight ahead, watching the gate as cars passed. And in that moment, Kunle understood one clear thing. Lola did not see him as a human being. She saw him as a joke. The day was still young, but Kunle felt like something big had started, and he did not know how it would end. Kunle stayed inside the car for a long time after he saw the video. He did not start the engine. He did not step out. He just sat there, holding his phone like it was heavy. The studio gate opened and closed as people came and went, but Kunle barely noticed. His mind kept going back to the same picture. His own face on Lola's page. His own small hum turned into a joke for strangers. After a while, his phone buzzed again. Another notification. Then another. Kunle unlocked the phone slowly, like he was afraid of what he would see. The video was spreading fast. The number of views kept jumping. 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. People he did not know were laughing at him like they had known him all their lives. He clicked the comments, even though his heart told him not to. See, village people. Why is he singing like that? This one wants to use pity to blow. Driver with big dream. Kunle swallowed hard. He scrolled more. Lol, this is funny. Madam Lola, please don't sack him. Imagine thinking you can sing because you drive a singer. Kunle locked the phone again. His hands shook, and this time, he could not control it. He pressed his palms on his thighs and took a deep breath. The car felt smaller. The air felt hot. He opened the window and leaned his head back. Just do your job well, he whispered to himself, but the words did not help like they used to. After some time, Lola came out of the studio with her team. She was laughing loudly, holding her phone high like she had just won something important. Did you see the comments? She said to one of her assistants. People are mad. Her assistant nodded. Yes, Ma. It's everywhere. Lola laughed again. As long as they are talking, it's good. Kunle quickly stepped out and opened the car door. He kept his eyes low. Ma, he said. Lola entered the car without looking at him. Take me home, she said. And drive fast. I'm tired. Kunle nodded and closed the door gently. He returned to the driver's seat and started the engine. As he drove, he could hear Lola talking on the phone, her voice loud and happy. Yes, yes. I posted it, Lola said. My driver. It's just cruise. People are laughing. Kunle focused on the road. His chest felt tight, but he did not say anything. At a traffic stop, a bike rider pulled up beside the car. He looked into the car and then looked again, his face changing. Ah, the man shouted. You be that guy. Kunle froze. Lola turned and smiled. You know him? The bike rider laughed. Madam, your driver is trending. I just saw the video now. Lola clapped her hands once. You see? Famous already. The bike rider laughed again and rode off. Kunle's ears burned. He felt like the whole road was staring at him. They reached Lola's house. Kunle parked and rushed to open the door. Lola stepped out, still smiling at her phone. Good job today, she said without looking at him. Don't forget tomorrow. I have interviews. Yes, Ma, Kunle replied. Lola walked inside, still laughing. Kunle stood by the car for a moment after she left. He wanted to scream. He wanted to throw his phone away, but he did none of those things. He entered the car and drove away slowly. On his way home, he stopped at a filling station to buy fuel for the car, as he had been told earlier. As he waited, the fuel attendant looked at him closely. You look familiar, the man said. Kunle forced a small smile. Maybe. The man pulled out his phone and tapped the screen. Is this not you? He showed Kunle the video. Kunle nodded slowly. Yes. The man laughed, but not in a cruel way. It was more like surprise. Omo, you can sing oh. Kunle looked away. Thank you. The man shook his head. Social media no get joy. One small thing. Everybody don't gather. Kunle nodded again. He paid and drove off. When he finally got home, the sun was already low. His one-room apartment welcomed him with silence. He dropped his keys on the table and sat on the bed. The room felt different now, like it was watching him. He lay back and stared at the ceiling. The fan still made the same tired sound. Nothing had changed in the room, but something had changed inside him. His phone buzzed again. This time, it was his mother calling. Kunle sat up slowly before answering. "Mama," he said. "My son," his mother replied. Her voice was soft. "Are you okay?" Kunle tried to sound normal. "Yes, Mama." There was a pause. "People are calling me," she said gently. "They are saying they saw you online." Kunle closed his eyes. "I'm sorry, Mama." "Why are you sorry?" she asked. "Did you do something bad?" "No," Kunle said quickly. "I didn't do anything." His mother sighed. "They said your boss posted you." Kunle did not answer. After a moment, his mother spoke again. "Kunle, listen to me." "Yes, Mama." "Don't let anybody make you feel small," she said. "Work is good, but respect is better." Kunle felt tears rise, but he pushed them back. "I know, Mama. You always loved music," she continued. "Even when we had nothing, you sang." Kunle smiled sadly. "That was before." "Before what?" she asked. Kunle did not know how to answer that. "I have to sleep, Mama. I have work tomorrow." "Okay, my son," she said. "Be careful." "I will," Kunle replied. He ended the call and sat quietly for a long time. Outside, people talked and laughed. Somewhere nearby, music played. Kunle did not hum. For the first time in years, he did not hum. The next morning, Kunle woke up early again. He washed his face, dressed, and stood in front of the mirror. He looked at himself and barely recognized the tired look in his eyes. "Just do your job well," he whispered again, but the words sounded weak. When he got to Lola's house, things felt different. The gate man smiled in a strange way. "You are famous now," the gate man said. Kunle nodded and said nothing. Inside the house, Lola's team was busy. Phones were ringing. People were talking over each other. "The video is still moving," someone said. "We should post another one," another voice replied. Kunle stood near the wall, waiting. Lola came out looking excited. "Kunle." "Yes, Ma?" he answered quickly. She walked up to him with a big smile. "You see what you started?" Kunle looked down. "I'm sorry, Ma." Lola waved her hand. "Sorry for what?" "This is gold. People love it." She turned to her manager. "Have you told them about the concert?" "Yes," the manager said. "Tickets are selling." Lola laughed. "Good. Very good." Kunle's ears picked up the word concert. He looked up slightly. "What concert?" someone asked. "My biggest one," Lola said proudly. "I will announce it properly today." She looked around the room, enjoying the attention. "This one will be mad," she continued. "I want something special, something funny, something people will talk about." Kunle felt a strange cold feeling again, like the one he felt the day before. Lola suddenly looked at him and smiled. "Kunle," she said slowly, "come here." Kunle stepped forward. "You like singing, right?" Lola asked. Kunle hesitated. "I just hum sometimes, Ma." Lola laughed. "We will talk later." She turned away and continued speaking to her team. Kunle stepped back, his heart beating fast. As he stood there, trying to make himself small again, he heard Lola say his name once more, this time in a low voice, meant only for the people closest to her. "For the concert," Lola said. "I have an idea with Kunle." The room went quiet for a moment. Kunle's chest tightened. He knew his name had just entered a place it did not belong. And whatever Lola was planning, it was not going to be kind. Kunle did not sleep well that night. His body was on the bed, but his mind was still standing inside Lola's house, hearing his name fall from her mouth like something light and careless. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her smile and heard the way she said, "For the concert, I have an idea with Kunle." The way she said it did not sound kind. It sounded playful, like a child talking about breaking a toy just to see what would happen. When morning came, Kunle woke up before his alarm. He sat on the edge of the bed and rubbed his face with both hands. The room was quiet, but his chest felt noisy. He stood up, washed his face, and stared at himself in the mirror for a long time. "You can still leave," he told himself. "You can still walk away." But when he thought of his mother's voice on the phone, soft and tired, and the money he had promised to send her at the end of the month, his feet refused to move in that direction. He dressed up slowly and went out. At Lola's house, everything felt louder than usual. Phones rang non-stop. People walked fast. Someone was shouting about schedules. Someone else was arguing about lights. Kunle parked the car and stepped out, careful not to draw attention to himself. As he walked toward the waiting area, he felt eyes on him. Some people smiled in a strange way. Some whispered and looked away. Kunle kept his head down and sat on a small chair near the wall. After some time, Lola came out of her room wearing a bright outfit and holding a cup of tea. She looked fresh and happy, like nothing bad had ever touched her. "Kunle," she called. "Yes, Ma," he answered, standing up at once. She looked at him from head to toe and smiled. "Relax. Why do you always look like someone is chasing you?" Kunle forced a small smile. "Sorry, Ma." She waved him closer. "Come, let's talk." Kunle followed her into a smaller room. The door closed behind them, and suddenly the noise outside felt far away. Lola leaned against the table and crossed her arms. "You know my concert is coming up, right?" "Yes, Ma," Kunle replied. "This one is big," she continued. "Very big. People are already talking." Kunle nodded. "Yes, Ma." Lola watched him for a moment, like she was studying something. "You like singing?" she said casually. Kunle felt his stomach drop. "I just hum sometimes, Ma." She laughed softly. "You are always denying yourself. It's not a bad thing." Kunle did not answer. "I want you to help with something small," Lola said. "Nothing serious." Kunle looked up. "Help how, Ma?" She smiled wider. "You'll see. Just be around. Follow instructions. That's all." Kunle hesitated. "Ma, if it's something I can't do." Lola's smile disappeared for a second. "Are you refusing?" "No, Ma," Kunle said quickly. "I'm just asking." She sighed like she was tired. "Don't worry. You worry too much." Kunle nodded. "Yes, Ma." She opened the door and walked out, ending the conversation like it never mattered. Kunle stood there for a moment before following her back into the noise. As the day went on, Kunle noticed the whispers growing louder. "That's the driver," someone murmured. "He's the one from the video," another voice said. Kunle kept moving, doing his job, opening doors, carrying bags, staying quiet. Later in the afternoon, Lola's team gathered near the stage setup area. Big lights were being tested. Speakers were stacked high. The place already looked like a small city made of metal and wires. Kunle stood at the side, watching. "We need something special for the middle of the show," Lola said. "Something unexpected." One of the team members laughed. "Like the driver?" Lola clapped her hands once. "Exactly." Some people laughed. Others looked unsure. "Ma," her manager said carefully, "people are already sensitive. Maybe we should be careful." Lola rolled her eyes. "Careful about what?" "It's fun. People like fun." Kunle felt his heart beating faster. He wanted to disappear into the wall. As the team continued talking, a young woman stepped closer to Kunle. She was one of the backup singers. Her name was Sade. She had kind eyes and a tired face, like someone who had seen too much. "Can I talk to you?" she asked quietly. Kunle nodded. They moved a little away from the others. "You should be careful," Sade said in a low voice. Kunle looked at her. "About what?" She glanced around to make sure no one was listening. "They are planning something with you on stage." Kunle swallowed. "What kind of something?" Sade shook her head. "I don't know all the details, but I know Lola. When she laughs like that, it's not good for the person she's pointing at." Kunle felt cold. "What should I do?" Sade hesitated. "If you can leave, leave." Kunle laughed softly. but there was no joy in it. Leave to where? She looked at him with pity. I'm just warning you. Thank you, Kunle said. As she walked away, Kunle stood there, feeling smaller than ever. He thought about quitting. The idea came back strong. He imagined walking out, handing in the keys, and never seeing Lola again. The thought brought him a little peace. But then he thought about the money he had already spent. The rent that was coming, his mother's medicine, the promises he had made. His phone buzzed. A message from his mother. Have you eaten today? Kunle typed back quickly. Yes, Mama. He lied. The next day, rehearsal started. The stage lights were turned on full. Music blasted through the speakers. Dancers moved back and forth, counting steps. Lola stood at the center, shining under the lights, giving orders like a queen. Kunle stayed at the back, watching. Kunle, Lola shouted suddenly. He jumped. Yes, Ma. Come here, she said. He walked toward the stage slowly. Lola pointed to the center of the stage. Stand there. Kunle hesitated, then stepped onto the stage. The lights were bright. He could barely see the faces below. Don't be shy, Lola said, smiling. This is where magic happens. Kunle forced a laugh. Yes, Ma. She turned to the sound engineer. When I bring him up during the show, cut the music. The man looked surprised. No music at all? Yes, Lola said. No beat, no effect, just his voice. Kunle's heart dropped. Ma, he said quietly. During the show, Lola turned to him, her smile still in place. Yes, it will be funny. Kunle opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Lola stepped closer. Relax. You won't die. She laughed, and some of the crew laughed with her. Kunle stepped back from the stage, his legs feeling weak. That night, at home, Kunle sat on his bed with his bag open. He placed his clothes inside slowly. He told himself he was packing just in case. Just in case he decided to leave. But when his phone rang again and he saw his mother's name, his hand stopped. My son, she said. Are you okay? Kunle took a deep breath. Yes, Mama. You sound tired, she said. It's work, Kunle replied. She paused. Kunle, no job is worth your peace. Kunle closed his eyes. I know, Mama. After the call ended, Kunle sat there for a long time, staring at the bag. In the end, he closed it without finishing. He lay back on the bed and stared at the ceiling until sleep came. The day of the concert arrived faster than he expected. The stadium was huge. Lights hung everywhere. People poured in like a river. Music played even before the show started. Kunle moved through the crowd backstage, carrying bags, opening doors, doing everything he was told. His heart beat hard in his chest. Backstage, people whispered again. That's him. He's the one. Kunle heard it all. Sade passed by him and touched his arm gently. Be strong, she said. Kunle nodded. Lola stood at the center of the backstage area, dressed in gold, smiling as cameras flashed. Tonight, she said loudly, will be unforgettable. Kunle stood behind the curtain, holding his breath. The sound of the crowd grew louder. The lights dimmed, then came back on brighter than before. As the opening music started, Kunle felt something settle in his chest. Not fear, not courage, just a quiet knowing. Whatever Lola had planned, it was already moving forward. And as the stadium lights fully came on, Kunle understood one clear thing. There was no turning back now. The noise of the crowd hit Kunle like a wave as soon as the curtain moved a little. Even from backstage, he could feel it in his chest. Thousands of voices mixed together, shouting Lola's name, screaming, laughing, calling for more. The sound was not smooth. It was rough and alive, like the ground shaking. Kunle stood behind a black curtain, holding a small towel in his hand. His palms were wet. He wiped them again and again, but the sweat kept coming. The lights from the stage slipped through small gaps in the curtain, flashing like lightning. Every few seconds, the bass from the speakers shook the floor under his feet. Are you okay? Sade asked softly, standing beside him. Kunle nodded, but his throat was too tight to speak. On stage, Lola's voice filled the stadium. She had already sung 3 songs. The crowd screamed louder after each one. Kunle listened as her voice rose and fell, strong and smooth, practiced and sure. Every note landed where it should. Every move made the crowd go wild. "She's enjoying this," one of the crew members said behind Kunle. Kunle did not turn. "She always does," another voice replied. Kunle closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered sitting in the driver's seat, humming quietly, thinking of nothing more than getting through the day. That small sound had carried him here, to this place where his heart felt like it might jump out of his chest. On stage, Lola laughed into the mic. "Lagos," she shouted. "Are you having fun?" The crowd screamed back. "I can't hear you," Lola said. The scream grew louder. Kunle flinched at the sound. Sade leaned closer to him. "If it gets too much," she whispered, "just breathe. One breath at a time." Kunle nodded again. Lola sang another song. Then another. Time moved in a strange way. Each minute felt long, but the songs passed fast. Kunle could not tell how many songs she had done. He only knew that with every break between songs, his heart beat faster. Then it happened. The music stopped suddenly. The crowd murmured in confusion. Some people laughed. Some shouted. Lola stood in the center of the stage, breathing lightly, smiling like she had a secret. "Tonight," she said slowly, "I want to do something different." The crowd cheered. Kunle felt his stomach twist. "You people always think you know what will happen at my shows," Lola continued. "But tonight, I want to surprise you." More cheers. Kunle felt Sade's hand touch his arm again. This time, it was firmer. "Kunle," Lola said into the mic, her voice clear and sharp, "come here." For a second, Kunle thought he had imagined it. He did not move. "Kunle," Lola repeated, louder. "My driver." A bright light swung toward the side of the stage, searching. Kunle's body froze. People backstage turned to look at him. "That's you," someone whispered. The light found Kunle. It landed on him fully, hot and blinding. The crowd reacted at once. "Who is that? Is that the driver?" "That's him. The one online." Laughter rolled through the stadium like thunder. Kunle felt his legs shake. He wanted to step back, to hide behind the curtain, but his feet would not obey him. "Go," a crew member said, pushing him gently toward the stage. Kunle stumbled forward. As he stepped onto the stage, the noise hit him harder. The lights were brighter than anything he had ever seen. He could not see faces clearly, only shapes and movement. Thousands of phones were raised, their screens glowing like small eyes watching him. Lola walked toward him slowly, smiling wide. "Everybody," she said, laughing into the mic, "this is Kunle." The crowd laughed again. "My driver," Lola added. "He likes to sing." More laughter. Kunle stood there, stiff and small, his hands hanging by his sides. His mouth felt dry. He swallowed, but it did not help. Lola circled him once, like she was showing him off. "You've all seen him online," she said, "always humming in my car." The crowd cheered. Lola stopped in front of him. "Kunle," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "since you like singing so much, sing for us." The crowd roared. Kunle looked at Lola, his eyes wide. "Ma," he said quietly, but the mic caught his voice and sent it across the stadium. The crowd laughed even louder. Lola lifted her hand. "No music," she told the sound team. Kunle's head snapped toward her. "No music," he repeated, his voice shaking. Lola nodded, smiling. "Yes, sing solo. Let us hear you clearly." The crowd screamed with excitement. Kunle felt the ground slip under him. He looked toward the side of the stage. He saw Sad standing there, her face tight with worry. She shook her head slightly. Kunle turned back to Lola. "Ma," he said again, his voice low, "please." Lola leaned closer to the mic. "What is it?" Kunle's chest rose and fell fast. "I don't sing like that." Lola laughed. "Like what?" "In front of people," Kunle said. Lola straightened and looked at the crowd. "Did you hear him? He says he doesn't sing in front of people." The crowd laughed again. But you sing in my car, Lola continued. So what's the difference? Kunle could not answer. Lola stepped closer and held the mic toward him. Sing. Kunle stared at the mic. It looked heavy. His hands trembled. He did not take it. The crowd started chanting. Sing, sing, sing. Kunle's ears rang. He felt like he was underwater. Lola tilted her head. What's wrong? You wanted attention, didn't you? Kunle shook his head quickly. No, Ma. Yes, you did, Lola said. Why else would you be humming all the time? Kunle opened his mouth, then closed it. The truth was too quiet to explain here. The truth would not matter. The chant grew louder. Sing, sing, sing. Kunle felt his knees weaken. He looked down at the stage floor. It shined under the lights, smooth and cold. Lola leaned closer to him again, her voice dropping low, but still caught by the mic. Don't embarrass me, she said. Kunle felt something break inside him at those words. Not loud, not sharp, just a small crack. He raised his head slowly and looked at the crowd again. Thousands of people, thousands of faces, thousands of phones. He thought of his mother's kitchen, small and warm. He thought of nights when the light went out and he sang to keep himself calm. He thought of the bus rides where he hummed to pass time. None of those moments were meant for this place. Lola pushed the mic closer to his mouth. Sing, she said again. The sound team cut all music. The stadium went quiet. Not fully silent, but close enough that Kunle could hear his own breathing. He could hear the small sounds people made as they waited. He could hear someone cough. He could hear a phone drop. The quiet felt heavier than the noise. Lola stepped back, crossing her arms, watching him. This is your moment, she said. Kunle stood there, the mic inches from his mouth, his heart pounding so loud he wondered if the crowd could hear it. The lights burned his eyes. Sweat ran down his back. He took one small breath. The crowd leaned in. Kunle opened his mouth. Kunle's mouth stayed open for a moment, but no sound came out. The stadium was quiet now, not the happy kind of quiet, but the kind that presses on your ears. Thousands of people waited. Phones were held up, ready. Lola stood a few steps away, her arms crossed, watching him like she was waiting for a joke to land. Sing, Lola said again, softer this time, but the mic carried her voice everywhere. Kunle swallowed. His tongue felt dry. His chest moved fast as he tried to breathe like Sade had told him, one breath at a time. He closed his eyes for a second, not because he was brave, but because he needed to remember something else. Anything else. He remembered the sound of rain on a zinc roof. He remembered his mother's voice in the kitchen when the power went out. He remembered humming to himself in the car when the road was long and the day was heavy. Those sounds had never laughed at him. They had never pointed. Kunle opened his eyes. He brought the mic closer, but his hand shook so much that the sound made a small noise. Someone in the crowd laughed. Another person shouted something he could not hear. The laughter spread a little, like a spark. Lola smiled wider. Take your time, she said, sweet and sharp at the same time. We are listening. Kunle looked straight ahead. He did not look at Lola again. If he did, he knew he would freeze. He took a breath. Then he sang. It was not loud. It did not jump. It did not show off. It came out low and steady, like a story being told to one person. I wake up before the sun, Kunle sang, his voice shaking at first, so I can catch the road before it gets angry. The sound moved through the stadium. At first, some people laughed again, because it was not what they expected. Some people clapped in a teasing way. Lola tilted her head, still smiling. Kunle went on. I carry keys that are not mine, he sang, and dreams I am afraid to drop. The laughter slowed, not because the crowd understood yet, but because the voice did not sound like a joke. It sounded tired. It sounded real. Kunle's hands stopped shaking a little. He felt the mic steady in his grip. I drive people who don't see me, he sang, past places I cannot enter. A few people in the front rows stopped laughing. Some lowered their phones a bit, listening instead of recording. Lola shifted her weight, her smile tightening. Kunle kept going. When they laugh, I laugh small, he sang, so they don't ask me why my eyes are heavy. The stadium felt different now. The noise did not rise, but it did not fall either. It hung there, thin and unsure. Someone near the front whispered, "Wait." Cunley's voice grew clearer as he sang the next lines. "I sleep in a room that remembers my breath," he sang, "and I tell myself tomorrow will be kinder." A strange thing happened then. The laughter stopped fully, not all at once, but little by little, like water drying under the sun. Cunley could hear his own voice echo back to him from the far ends of the stadium. He could hear how small it sounded, but also how far it traveled. Lola took a step forward. Okay, she said into her mic, laughing lightly. "That's enough now." The crowd reacted with mixed sounds. Some people laughed with her, some people did not. Cunley did not stop. He sang the next line with more strength. "They clap when shame enters," he sang, "but shame does not stay where they think." Lola frowned. "Cunley," she said sharply. Cunley sung over her. "It walks back," he continued, quietly, "into the hands that threw it." A murmur moved through the crowd. "Did you hear that?" someone said. "That line," another voice replied. Lola's smile was gone now. She stepped closer. "Stop," she said, her voice tight. Cunley's heart beat hard, but he did not stop. His voice shook again, but it did not break. "I did not come here to be seen," he sang, "but since I am here, I will not lie." The crowd grew still. Phones stayed up, but fewer people were typing now. More people were listening. Lola reached for the mic. Cunley stepped back without thinking, keeping the mic close to his mouth. "Cunley," Lola snapped. He sang one more line, softer, but clear. "When you clap for shame," he sang, "it finds your name." The stadium went silent. Not the waiting silence from before. This was different. It felt full, like something had landed and everyone was trying to understand what it was. Cunley lowered the mic slightly, breathing hard. Sweat ran down his face, but he did not wipe it. He stood there, chest rising and falling, like he had just run a long distance. Lola laughed suddenly, sharp and loud. "Wow," she said. "Poetry now?" Some people laughed with her, but not as many as before. She turned to the crowd. "Did you enjoy that? Village lyrics and all?" A few cheers came. A few boos followed. The boos were quiet, but they were there. Cunley looked at the crowd again. He saw faces now, not just light. He saw a woman pressing her lips together. He saw a man nodding slowly. He saw a young boy staring at him, eyes wide. Lola leaned close to Cunley and spoke without smiling. "You think you are smart," she said. Cunley shook his head. "No, Ma. You think this is your stage," she said. Cunley swallowed. "No, Ma." Lola straightened and raised her mic. "Okay," she said brightly. "Let's clap for our driver." She clapped first. Some people clapped. Some did not. The claps did not sound the same. They were uneven, confused. Cunley stood there, not knowing what to do next. He felt empty, like he had poured something out and had nothing left. Then, slowly, something changed. In the middle of the crowd, one phone light turned away from Lola. It pointed at Cunley. Another phone light followed. Then another. At first, it looked like nothing. Just small dots of white light shifting in the dark. But Cunley noticed. His eyes followed the movement without meaning to. Lola noticed too. "What are they doing?" she asked, laughing again, but her voice cracked a little. More lights turned. Someone clapped. Not the fast teasing clap from before, but a slow clap. 1, 2, 3. Others joined. The sound grew, slow and heavy, filling the space between people. Cunley felt his throat tighten again. He did not sing. He did not move. He just stood there, watching as the lights changed direction. Lola stepped forward quickly. All right, she said, raising her hand. "Let's move on." She reached for the mic again. A voice shouted from the crowd, loud and clear. "Let him finish." The stadium reacted at once. Some people cheered. Some people gasped. Lola froze. Cunley's heart jumped. Lola turned toward the crowd, her smile stiff. "Finish what?" she asked. Another voice shouted. He wasn't done. More cheers followed. Kunle looked down at the mic in his hand. His fingers were tight around it, but his body felt weak. Lola looked at him now, not laughing, not smiling, just staring. The lights in the crowd stayed where they were, pointed at Kunle. The slow clapping continued. Kunle took a small step back, not because he wanted to leave, but because he did not know where to stand anymore. The stage felt different under his feet, not friendly, not cruel, just uncertain. Lola leaned into her mic again, her voice low. "This is my show," she said. The clapping did not stop. Kunle stood in the middle of it all, his song still hanging in the air, unfinished. And for the first time that night, the crowd was not laughing. The clapping did not slow down. It did not rush either. It stayed steady, heavy, like a heart beating in the open. Kunle stood in the middle of the stage, the mic still in his hand, his song still unfinished. The phone light stayed pointed at him. Not all, but enough to change the air. Lola's face tightened. She took one step toward Kunle and spoke into her mic again. "This is my show," she repeated, louder this time. Some people cheered for her, but the sound was thin. It did not rise like before. Another voice came from the crowd. "Let him sing." The shout was clear. It cut through the noise like a knife. Lola turned toward the sound. "Who said that?" More voices answered. "Let him sing. Finish the song." He didn't lie. The clapping grew louder. Kunle felt dizzy. His heart beat so hard he could hear it in his ears. He had not planned for this. He had only planned to survive the moment and leave the stage with his head down. Now the moment refused to end. Lola stepped closer to him, her heels sharp against the stage. "Give me the mic," she said through her teeth, smiling for the cameras. Kunle looked at her. His mouth opened, but no words came out. "Give me the mic," Lola said again, her voice shaking now. Kunle's fingers tightened around the mic without him meaning to. Not because he wanted to fight, not because he felt strong, but because letting go felt like falling. The crowd noticed. The clapping stopped. A low sound rose instead, a mix of gasps and murmurs. Lola reached for the mic. Kunle took one small step back. The crowd reacted at once. "Hey, don't do that. Leave him." Lola froze. Her hand stayed in the air. She laughed suddenly, sharp and loud, like she was trying to break the moment. "You people are funny," she said. "This is all a joke." Some people laughed, but many did not. Kunle lifted the mic closer to his mouth again. His voice came out soft, but the speakers carried it far. "I wasn't finished," he said. The crowd cheered. Lola's smile vanished fully now. "You think you can take over my stage?" she snapped. Kunle shook his head slowly. "No." "Then stop," Lola said. Kunle took a breath. His chest rose and fell. He looked at the crowd again. He saw Sade standing at the side, her hand over her mouth. He saw crew members frozen in place. He saw strangers who were no longer laughing. "I just want to finish," Kunle said. Lola lifted her mic. "Security." A loud boo rose from the crowd. Then another. Then many. The sound hit Lola like a slap. She stepped back, stunned. Kunle flinched at the noise. He did not enjoy it. He did not want it. But it did not stop. The boos grew louder. "This is not right," someone shouted. "Let him sing." Lola's voice cracked as she tried to speak again. "Stop that." The boos did not stop. Kunle stood there, shaking. But the mic stayed in his hand. His mouth felt dry again. His throat burned. He sang. Not loud, not proud, just steady. "I carried my shame quietly," he sang, his voice rough, so others could laugh freely. The crowd grew quiet again. "I did not ask for a stage," he continued, "but a stage found me." Somewhere in the crowd, someone started crying. The sound carried faintly, but it was there. Lola looked around, panic flickering across her face. Kunle sang the next line. "When you stand too high," he sang, "you forget the ground has ears." A wave of sound moved through the crowd. Not cheers, not boos. Something deeper, recognition. Kunle felt his legs tremble, but he stayed standing. He sang the final line of the song, his voice barely holding together. "I am not your joke," he sang. "I am your mirror." The last word echoed through the stadium. Kunle lowered the mic. For a second, nothing happened. Then the stadium exploded. Not with wild screaming like before. Not with jumping and dancing, but with applause. Loud, full, heavy applause that rolled and refused to stop. Phone lights flashed. People stood up. Some clapped above their heads. Some wiped their faces. Kunle stood still, stunned. His ears rang, his vision blurred. Lola looked small now under the lights. The gold of her outfit no longer shined the same way. She stepped forward quickly and grabbed for the mic. Kunle pulled it back without thinking. The crowd gasped. "Give it!" Lola shouted. The crowd booed louder than before. "Let him be. Enough." Shame. The word shame hit Lola hard. Her face twisted. She turned toward the sound team. "Cut this mic." The sound team hesitated. "Now!" Lola screamed. They did not move. Kunle felt his hands shaking badly now. He looked at the mic, then at Lola. "I'm done," he said quietly. He handed the mic to a crew member instead of Lola. The crowd roared again. Lola screamed in anger. "This is my show." She turned and stormed toward the side of the stage. The boos followed her like a shadow. Cameras followed too. Kunle stood alone at the center of the stage, the applause still going. He did not bow. He did not smile. He did not know what to do with his hands. Someone shouted, "Respect." Another voice answered, "We see you." Kunle's chest felt tight again. But this time it was not fear. It was something else. Something heavy and warm. Sade ran onto the stage and stood beside him. "You did it," she whispered. Kunle shook his head. "I didn't plan it." She smiled through tears. That's why it mattered. The applause slowly began to fade. Not because people wanted it to stop, but because the moment had said what it needed to say. Kunle looked toward the side of the stage. Lola was gone. The lights dimmed a little. The band started setting up again, unsure of what to do next. A voice came through the speakers, shaky. "Please, please stay calm." The crowd murmured. Kunle felt a tap on his shoulder. A security man leaned in. "You should come with me," the man said gently. Kunle nodded. As he walked off the stage, the crowd clapped again, softer now, like a goodbye. Kunle did not look back. Backstage was chaos. People talked over each other. Phones rang. Someone argued with someone else. Someone shouted about damage control. Kunle stood near a wall, his body finally giving in. His legs felt weak. He leaned against the wall and closed his eyes. Sade came to him again. "Are you okay?" she asked. Kunle nodded slowly. "I think so." She handed him a bottle of water. He drank, his hands shaking. "You changed something tonight," she said. Kunle shook his head. "I just sang." She smiled sadly. "Sometimes, that's enough." From across the room, Kunle heard Lola's voice screaming. "They turned on me," Lola shouted. "On my own stage." No one answered her. Kunle looked down at the floor. He did not feel happy. He did not feel proud. He felt tired, very tired. A manager walked up to him. "You should go home," the man said. "We'll call you." Kunle nodded. "Okay." As he walked out of the stadium through a side door, the noise faded behind him. The night air hit his face, cool and quiet. Outside, a few people stood waiting. Some recognized him. Some whispered. Kunle kept walking. He did not know what tomorrow would bring. He did not know if he still had a job. He did not know if his life had changed. But one thing was clear. The crowd had chosen, and Lola had lost control of the one thing she thought was always hers. Kunle did not take a car from the stadium. He walked for a while instead, letting the noise fade fully behind him. The night air felt cool on his face, and for the first time in many days, his head felt quiet. Not empty, just quiet, like after rain. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He stopped walking. Another buzz came, then another. Kunle pulled out the phone and looked at the screen. Messages were pouring in so fast that he could not read them all. Missed calls, unknown numbers, old contacts he had not heard from in years. He locked the phone again and slipped it back into his pocket. Not because he was proud, not because he was afraid. He was just tired. By the time he got home, his legs ached. He unlocked his door and stepped inside his small room. The fan was still there. The chair was still there. Nothing had changed. Yet everything felt different. Kunle dropped his bag on the floor and sat on the edge of the bed. His hands shook again, now that there was no crowd watching him. He leaned forward and pressed his elbows on his knees. "I'm home," he whispered, though no one was there. His phone buzzed again. This time, he answered. "Mama," he said. There was a pause on the line. Then his mother's voice came through, shaky and full. "My son," she said. "Is it true?" Kunle closed his eyes. "Yes, Mama. They showed it on TV," she said. "They showed you." Kunle swallowed. "I didn't plan it." "I know," she said quickly. "I know." Her voice broke. "You sang like your father," she said softly. The way he used to sing when things were hard. Kunle felt tears rise, hot and heavy. "I was scared," he said. "You were brave," his mother replied. "Even if you didn't mean to be." Kunle laughed weakly. "I don't even know what I did," she sighed. "You told the truth, and people heard it." They stayed on the phone for a long time without saying much more. When the call ended, Kunle lay back on the bed and stared at the ceiling until sleep took him. He woke up to noise. Not outside. From his phone. The screen lit up with alerts. Videos, headlines, clips from the concert. His name. Lola's name. Words moving too fast to follow. Kunle sat up slowly. One headline caught his eye. Crowd turns on Lola after mocking driver on stage. Another. Singer loses control of concert as audience defends driver. Kunle dropped the phone on the bed like it was hot. At the same time, in a large house across the city, Lola paced her living room, her phone pressed to her ear. "What do you mean they are pulling out?" she shouted. Her manager's voice came through the speaker, tired and calm. "They don't like the backlash," he said. "Sponsors are nervous." "Nervous?" Lola snapped. "I did nothing wrong." The manager sighed. "Public opinion has turned." "They are sheep," Lola said. "They'll forget." "Maybe," he replied. "But not today." Lola threw the phone on the couch and ran her hands through her hair. Her TV was on, muted, but she could see the images. Her face frozen on stage, Kunle standing under the lights. The crowd pointing their phones away from her. She grabbed the remote and turned the volume up. A rare moment where the audience rejected cruelty live on stage. The host was saying. Lola screamed and turned the TV off. Back in his small room, Kunle tried to eat, but food tasted like nothing. He sat on his chair and watched the light move on the wall as the day passed. Someone knocked on his door. Kunle froze. Another knock came. "Kunle," a voice called. "It's me." He opened the door a little. It was Sade. She smiled when she saw him. "You disappeared." "I walked," Kunle said. She stepped inside and looked around. "This is you." He nodded. "This is it." She laughed softly. Funny how big stages lead back to small rooms. They sat down. "You okay?" she asked. "I think so," Kunle replied. She looked at him closely. "They are saying you should speak. Interviews, shows, offers." Kunle shook his head quickly. "No." Sade raised her eyebrows. "You don't want to talk." "I don't even know what to say," Kunle said. She nodded slowly. "That's fair." Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and sighed. "What?" Kunle asked. "Lola just posted an apology video," she said. Kunle looked up. "She did?" Sade turned the phone toward him. On the screen, Lola sat in front of a white wall, her face serious, her voice soft. "I'm sorry if anyone was hurt," Lola said. "It was meant as fun. I never meant harm." The comments moved fast. "She's lying. That wasn't fun." Too late. Sade locked the phone. "People don't believe her," she said. Kunle said nothing. At the same time, Lola watched the comments on her own screen, her chest tight. "They are not listening," she said to no one. Her assistant stood near the door. "Ma, maybe give it time." Lola laughed bitterly. "Time? Time just embarrassed me." She slammed the phone down and stared at the wall. Back in Kunle's room, Sade stood up. "I should go," she said. "Things are messy." Kunle nodded. "Thank you for everything." She smiled. "You didn't need help. You just needed space." After she left, Kunle sat alone again. The sun went down. The city outside kept moving. Kunle's phone rang. Unknown number. He stared at it. Then he declined the call. Another call came. He declined again. He stood up, picked his bag, and placed it near the door. He did not know why. Maybe it made him feel ready for something, even if he did not know what. Across the city, Lola sat alone in her house, her lights off. The noise had stopped, but the silence felt loud. Her phone lay on the table, face down. She whispered to herself, "They turned on me." Back in his room, Kunle lay down again, staring at the ceiling fan. He did not feel like a hero. He did not feel like a victim. He felt like someone who had walked through fire and come out quiet. Outside, the city buzzed with talk, with opinions, with noise. Inside, Kunle closed his eyes. Tomorrow would come, and he did not know what it would ask of him. Kunle woke up before the sun the next morning, not because of noise, but because his body was used to waking early. For a moment, he forgot everything. The stage, the lights, the crowd. Then his phone buzzed, and the memory returned like a wave. He sat up slowly and rubbed his face. The room was calm. The fan turned. Outside, a rooster crowed somewhere far away. Life was still moving in its usual way, even though his own life felt like it had stopped and restarted at the same time. Kunle stood up, bathed, and wore a simple shirt and trousers. He did not dress like someone going for an interview or a show. He dressed like someone going to work. His phone rang again. This time, he answered. "Kunle," a man's voice said, excited and fast. "This is Tunde from a media house. We want you on our morning show." Kunle listened quietly. "You'll just talk," the man continued. "Tell your story. People love you." Kunle paused. "Thank you," he said carefully. But no. There was silence on the other end. "No? Yes," Kunle replied. "I don't want to come. But this is your chance," the man said. Kunle smiled faintly. "I didn't sing for chance." He ended the call. Another call came almost at once. "Kunle," a woman said. "I'm a producer. We can help you." "No," Kunle said gently and ended the call again. He switched his phone to silent and placed it on the table. After a while, he picked up his bag and stepped outside. The street greeted him with its normal sounds. Buses, voices, footsteps. A woman selling food waved at him. "Good morning," she said. "Good morning," Kunle replied. He walked to a small bus park not far from his house. The smell of fuel and dust filled the air. Drivers shouted destinations. People pushed and hurried. Kunle walked up to an older man sitting on a bench. "Good morning, sir," Kunle said. "Are you still looking for a driver?" The man looked up slowly. "You again?" Kunle nodded. "Yes, sir." The man studied his face. "You sure you want this work?" Kunle answered without thinking. "Yes." The man stood up. "All right. Start today." Kunle nodded and followed him. By midday, Kunle was driving a small bus filled with people. The road was long and rough. People complained. People laughed. A woman argued with the conductor. A child cried. Kunle drove quietly, focused on the road. At a stop, a young man stared at him for a long time. "Are you that guy?" the man asked. Kunle glanced at him. "Which guy?" "The one from the concert," the man said. "The driver." Kunle nodded slowly. "Yes." The man smiled. "You sang well." Kunle nodded again. "Thank you." The man hesitated. "Why are you here?" Kunle thought for a moment. "Because this is where I work." The man laughed softly and got off the bus. Kunle continued driving. Across the city, Lola sat in her house, dressed but with nowhere to go. Her phone lay on the table, quiet now. The noise had faded, but the damage remained. Her manager stood near the door. "Shows are on hold," he said. "We need time." Lola looked at him. "What about Kunle?" The manager shrugged. "He's not talking." Lola laughed without humor. "Of course he's not." She stared at the wall. Back on the road, Kunle stopped the bus to let people down. An older woman stayed behind. "You are the one who sang," she said gently. Kunle nodded. She smiled. "My son, don't let anybody rush you." Kunle met her eyes. "I won't." She stepped down and walked away. That evening, Kunle returned home tired but steady. His body ached, but his mind felt clear. He sat on his bed and finally turned his phone back on. There were still messages, still missed calls. He ignored them. Instead, he called his mother. "Mama," he said. "My son," she replied. "I was waiting." "I'm fine," Kunle said. "I'm working." She laughed softly. "That's good." "I didn't take any offer," Kunle added. She was quiet for a moment. "Do what gives you peace," she said. "I think I am," Kunle replied. Days passed. The internet moved on to other stories. Lola's name still came up sometimes, but not the same way. Her songs played less. Her apology was forgotten, but the moment was not. Kunle kept driving. Sometimes, he sang quietly while waiting for passengers. Not on stage, not into a mic, just to himself. One afternoon, a young girl sat near the front of the bus. "Uncle," she said, "why don't you sing on TV again?" Kunle smiled. "Because not all songs are for TV." She frowned. "Then who are they for?" Kunle thought for a moment as he drove. "For people who need them." The girl nodded like she understood. That night, Kunle stood outside his room and looked up at the sky. The stars were faint, but they were there. He thought of the stage again, but it felt far away now, like something from another life. He did not miss it. Inside a dark house across the city, Lola sat alone, scrolling through old videos of herself, stopping just before the moment everything changed. She closed her phone and whispered, "I didn't know." But knowing came too late. Kunle lay down on his bed and closed his eyes. He was not famous. He was not rich. But he was whole. And that was enough. Some voices rise to fame. Others rise to remind people who they are. Kunle's voice had done its work. And it did not need a stage anymore.